Yeah, man. So, did you ever blow bubbles as a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in town actually looking for you.
That's so fucking stupid.
Yo, what's up, everybody? How's it going? I'm Mity
And this is Chief.
and we are the ADHDads. Welcome into the channel. Oh, dude, come on, that was pretty funny.
Fucking bubbles.
That was good. Yeah. Yeah, I know you didn't like him, but you know. He's
Well,
looking for
obviously I did.
you. I mean, yeah, I guess. But anyways.
Or he paid well, I guess.
Welcome in, everybody, to the podcast where we just talk about literal nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whatever comes to mind.
Yep. We're dads.
With ADHD and children.
What?
Well, oh yeah, obviously if we're dads, we have children.
Well,
I mean,
we could probably make the argument.
I guess you could be like, oh, I'm a dog dad, and that's not a child, it's a dog, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
all right, well, anyways.
Not to upset those fur moms and fur dads out there.
But yeah, guys, we are back. We are
I'm so full.
excited to be here. You're full? Yeah, what's that
Oh,
like?
it
What's
was
that
so
like, huh?
nice.
I'm so hungry.
God,
It's
I
not
can
even-
fall
it's
asleep.
not even
I got
fair.
a nice little lip pilly in, little Zin to win.
But it's not even fair, dude.
A
It
nice
just happens to
push.
me every time. Every time, dude. Like, so we
What
ordered
happened?
food. What happened? Oh, let's talk about it.
Let's
so we
talk
ordered
about
food,
it. What
right?
happened?
And we picked a place, and we are just like, oh, this place has good food. I sent the menu to Chief. He's like, dude, this looks great. Sends me his whole
Get
order.
it.
Sends Brienne the whole orders just in case, like a bam. I order my food, and Brienne's sitting there, and she's like, oh, weird, something's going on with the app. And I'm like, what do you mean? And so she clicks it once, clicks it twice, 3 times. And it's just like, yeah, now it's grayed out on DoorDash. I can't order from here. It says try again tomorrow at 10 a.m. So we're like, okay, we'll do an online
That's all
order
right.
to pick up.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, we'll try that. Yeah, no, online is shut down too. And I'm like, dang. And this is like a newer spot in where we are here in Minnesota. I guess newer within the year. But they're popping. Like, we've gone there Wednesday for lunch, and they're full.
I have been there before too.
Yeah, and like it's crazy. Like, good for them, but God, it sucks that they have to turn off their online orders. You know.
Yeah.
But so we're like, okay, we'll settle for Muddy Cow, and that's not settling. Muddy Cow is really good, right? Like,
Well, yeah. I mean, we
there's
do
nothing
what we
on
do
the
best
menu.
and just pivot. You know.
there's
There's
not
other food.
there's not much on the menu at Muddy Cow that we've had that we
No.
don't like. Well, so we all put our order in, and we're sitting there waiting, and Chief shows up today, but kind of by surprise too. We thought he was coming tomorrow, and just
Kinda.
it was all
The
in
plan
the air.
was
Everything
to
was in
do
the
it
air.
tonight, and then my wife was like, "We got shit going on." So then when you messaged me, you were like, "Hey, we gonna do it tonight or tomorrow?" And I said, "Well, I think we got stuff tonight, but I'll check back." Sure enough, hours go by. Check back. Hey man, we could do tonight. And you're like, "Hey man, I'm waiting to see
Yeah, because we
if
were
my
gonna go.
plans are gonna go." I'm like, "Oh,
Yep.
you made fucking plans now?" And he's like, "Yep." 'cause
No,
you
he's like,
said
oh
no.
no, you go. You
I was
had
like, oh, that
plans. I was
makes
like,
sense.
no, I didn't have plans. So what happened? What happened was, right? Text messages, conversations were had in that time because nothing was solidified.
Exactly. No.
It was starting to get to that time
And
where
I'm
it was
not
like,
upset about it. It was just like, "Oh shit, this moves fast."
yeah, and yeah, it was one of those. It was like nothing was solidified, so it was one of those where it was just like, all right, let's it's getting close to dinner time. Let's figure it out now if we're gonna do dinner. Kind of me and my wife talking. So we made a couple phone calls, a couple texts, and it didn't happen. Nothing happened. So we're here. So which is okay. But anyway, so we order Muddy Cow. We're sitting there. We're like, all right, set our order in. We're sitting there hanging out. We're all having fun. Me and Chief are ripping open a box of some Lorcana cards.
Hell yeah.
Just getting our fix in. Just opening some cards, sleeving
Yeah.
some stuff, and waiting for food to come. And next thing you know, it's like, hey, your food is here. And we're like, all right, sweet. So his wife goes to the door and brings in a bag. And I looked, and the first thing I commented, and you know it too, I was like, I'm surprised they fit everything into one bag. I'm like, there's one bag? Like, there's no way. And then she's like, yeah, well, I mean, it's a big bag. And I'm like, it is a big bag. Like, but, wow, okay. So we start divvying everything out. Brienne's food. There's Jake's food. There's Mel's food. There's no kid food. Oh, I'm sorry. The baby got his pizza.
Yeah.
And, so it left out me and the kids, essentially. So we...
So the kids.
Yeah, so Jake and I pulled it together quick, and we cooked macaroni and cheese,
Grilled cheese, we
grilled
had
cheese,
PB&Js.
peanut butter jellies, apples, oranges, some fruits. Just threw together everything for the kids, and I mean they loved it. They didn't think anything of it. They were just like, all right, cool, like another meal.
Yeah.
But they didn't realize the struggle, right? So everybody's eating except me, and even not only did Brienne's meal come, but her appetizer came as well.
Yep.
I'm like, son of a gun, man. So, like, she messaged the person, was like, do you have another bag? They were like, no, we only had one bag. Contact the restaurant. She was like, I already contacted DoorDash. So DoorDash refunded her money because they didn't bring half of our food, man. And my food is always in that.
Yeah.
Always. So I didn't eat. Chief ate. I had, like, 2 bites of macaroni. I had a cucumber here. I had...
yeah, you didn't ask, by the way. You just took my cucumber like a fucking
I did.
animal.
Well, it was sitting there kind of naked alone by itself, and I figured,
hadn't got to it yet.
By that point, you weren't getting to it.
But I mean, it's okay. I didn't miss it, though, because my bourbon burger was amazing.
No, that's good. No, Muddy Cow has amazing burgers. Guys, if you are in Minnesota, around the Cottage Grove area, they have a restaurant
just
out
outside
there, Muddy
the Twin
Cow.
Cities.
Just outside Twin Cities. They have a restaurant, Muddy Cow. I highly advocate for this restaurant. They do 2-for-1s all day, every day on everything but shots. Besides that,
Yes, that's probably the best part about it.
Yep, you pay $5, you get 2 beers. I mean, which is
all day.
It works out, $4 or $5.
And they're like,
it works
they're
out,
not
but,
like
I mean,
beers.
they're tall. They're tall. They're
tap
16
beers.
ounces, So, but besides the whole drinking aspect of it, even like the burgers are freaking phenomenal.
They're very good.
I would say number 1 burger I've ever had.
And as I'm like scarfing this burger, he's like, oh, like we're like, yeah, we can split a burger or something. We're gonna have some of that. And he goes, no, I don't want to eat like a fat ass. And I said, wow, okay. Well, 3 of us got burgers. You're the only adult that didn't get a burger.
No, I got a wrap. But
you just calling us out like that.
Because my thing is like with those burgers though, is like you eat it and it's good, but it also makes me very tired afterwards, and I'm just ready for a nap.
That doesn't mean it's unhealthy.
No, that doesn't mean it's unhealthy. It's just like I've just been tired all day. I was like, I'm ready to be.
It's that protein.
That's right. Too much protein.
Too much protein.
but yeah, so I
think,
didn't get dinner.
Side note, I think I actually hit my protein goal today.
Dude,
which
nice.
is very difficult.
What is it,
for
like
me to
one? What do you got, like 160? What's your protein goal?
200.
200.
Try to get 1 gram of protein for your
per body weight. Isn't
that is so fucking hard to do.
Isn't it 1 gram of protein per body weight you want to be?
No.
Or something like that.
For maintenance.
Oh.
For maintenance, it's.
Yeah. See, I'm trying to lose a little bit of weight. I want to lose probably about 10
that's
pounds.
Fine.
So I only want to be like 140. Whoa. You say wow, but like I mean like.
That's literally the difference. Is one of our children.
2 of our children.
To you. Well, maybe 2 years. Mine are. Jackson's 53 pounds and Ari's like 49.
And yeah, Ollie is. What is Ollie? I think last time he stepped on he was like 45, 46. So right in there. And then Mavis was pushing 40. But she hasn't hit the stretch out phase yet. She's bulking.
Yeah. She's
but that girl
she's
eats.
getting a little pudgy.
No,
she's a pudgy girl.
No, I love her. It doesn't matter. She eats though. She puts away food. Like,
I know.
All day.
I'm saying everybody has a pudgy face.
We finished the mac and cheese. She turned around and goes, literally leaned back in her like little stuffy chair, just like, I want more mac and cheese, like breathing heavy, like dude, like you just went on a run.
Down.
Like, and
it wasn't regular mac and cheese. I mean, you put a big scoop.
So what I did, I opened the fridge and I realized I was out of milk, and I was like, well, shoot. So I loaded up with 2.
Get away from me.
2 giant scoops of.
Get away from me.
Hey, dude, I don't think I can scoot away any further. I'll be out of camera shot. No, but.
Oh, it's that thing.
Yeah, no, the dog's messing with him. No, I put in two big scoops of cottage cheese in there because I was out of milk, and maybe like a dab of water just because the powdered cheese kind of thing. Mix that in there with a little extra butter and stuff like that. And then I tried it. It was actually really good. It was very creamy. I was really surprised. So I'm gonna start adding cottage cheese. I literally add it to almost everything, anyways. I love cottage cheese, guys. High protein.
Well, I told you about the
really
hack.
Good.
I told you about the hack that we do. So you can go on Amazon. You can get like I don't know how many pounds, but it's like a jug. Probably this big, probably 8-inch tall, 6-inch wide around. It's a big square jug, and you can get that of cheese powder, and it's not nearly as salty as like Kraft mac and cheese. It's actually relatively healthy for you.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we get the 5 at Patax. They sell a 5-pound thing of cottage cheese. So we'll get like the giant jug, and then we take like a cup of that, a scoop of the cheese powder, and we just blend that, and then just throw it in a pot and heat it up for sauce. Dude, the creamiest sauce. So then we just have regular noodles, mix that in. Kids don't know the difference, and it's so good.
Yeah,
you gotta try it.
Mel
Holy
also
shit.
mentioned too. She said not only the cottage cheese, but throw in like a clump of like cream cheese
Wow, yeah.
in with it.
Yeah, she's like, for extra health,
Yeah,
throw
I mean
in
like
some more cheese.
yeah, I mean,
And I was
you
like, yeah,
know.
I mean, it tastes delicious. It's very good.
dude, I'm all about flavor.
Get
Will
down.
you calm yourself?
Get down.
Sorry guys, my dog is just like, oh my god, I've never
It's
seen
alright.
a person before. But yeah, so I didn't eat. But anyways, we threw together food. For all the kids and stuff. I had a little bit here and there. My wife was like, I can order you anything. And I was like, yes, my $200 lobster dinner should be
Well,
here.
that's what I was gonna say. I mean, because it was easily over $100 for all everybody's food, and then they refunded it right away. And I was like, dude, that just means you get $100 meal. Hell yeah, get whatever you
and so
want.
I was just like, I'll take some haiku sushi, and I started putting in rolls. But I was like, I don't want to be that guy. Like, I'm not gonna be sitting here eating sushi rolls while everyone else had like burgers and stuff.
Oh, you were gonna share because you get
No, I
$100
wasn't.
You get $100 worth.
No, you don't
were
understand.
gonna
I
share.
was not gonna.
Okay.
That's the problem. That's
Well,
why.
I
But no,
guess-
I'm not super hungry. I'll be fine. We got some like chicken in the.
We got beer. These are 95
fridge.
calories
Beer,
a piece.
yeah, the beer. This is like 100 calories or something for the 16 ounce, whatever it is. 100 and
Are you serious?
yeah, it's like one something.
Why is it so less? That's crazy.
Because Coors Light, it's only like 95.
You're right. 102.
102 calories. No, that's per serving. I think there's like 1.5 servings, right, or something like that. One and a
quarter.
one and a
Or
quarter
one and a
servings.
third. Yeah.
A third. So 102 divided by 3 is what, 99 is 33, 34.
I'm just gonna let you work through this.
Yeah, so 102 plus 34.
34.6.
136. 136 for this.
34.6. Added to the 102.
It's not 34.6. It comes out even. 102 divided by 3? Yes, it does, dude, because 99 is 33. So it's
Okay.
34 is 102.
No, I was saying plus the extra.
No, then you just add 34 to 102.
That's what I'm saying. What did
Yep,
you say?
136.
That's what I said.
I thought you said 0.6. That's why I was like, where's your decimal
No, I
point?
said 130.
Well, whatever. 130 calories for a beer is fine. It's whatever. dude.
Why are
We
you
gotta-
so argumentative
I, don't-
tonight?
I wasn't. 'Cause
God,
I need a Snickers.
I'm like in coma mode from my amazing burger.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, ugh. Then I put on this piccolo wrap that Brienne's
It's not a
rocking.
piccolo, right? It's like a
Look at this
scarf.
thing. Look at this thing.
Ollie and Mavis walk
Go
around the house
on.
wearing that like I don't know what they think when they wear that, but they wear it all the time.
Dude, it's awesome. It's
It's funny.
we're all a little autistic, so like, you know what?
Yeah, dude, they're very artistic.
This
Ollie
helps
likes
a
to
lot.
draw.
This is such
Speak-
like a subtle.
Speaking about artistic,
I don't think you're hearing me correctly.
so is this not acoustic enough?
Hello.
No, so we had Ollie's parent teacher conference the other day, and we went in and they do a. What? Why are you laughing, dude?
Because
I'm really proud of this.
you
dude.
should be proud. It's
Dude,
just
piss
very.
off, man.
It's how you deliver it.
So I went to this parent teacher conference the other day, and so I go in and they're sitting there and they do like based on what grade they're in, kind of they measure them in like different
Assessments. Yeah.
yeah, like different assessments for the different things that they should know. So like there's no math assessment for kindergarten. You know that?
Mm-hmm.
There's like no like all they do is just like can you
they
count?
don't teach. Yeah.
Cool, you
well, no.
made it.
Yeah, they don't teach you anything
Yeah, so
because
so-
you don't know the numbers yet. So you
well,
gotta know
right.
the numbers.
But Ollie, cool story. Ollie's in like the 500 club. They're doing a club to like count to 1,000, so he can write all his numbers out, like up to 500, and he's working his way to the 1,000 club. He's really excited to get there. Anyways. So I'm in the 1,000 club too, but different club. But anyways, no. So they tested his like reading comprehension and like English skills and all that stuff, and like he placed in like they rate it not only at the state level but the national level is where they put it. And most kids in his age are in the like 50th percentile right in there. He's in the 97th percentile for like reading comprehension and like the ability to like read words and like like I wouldn't necessarily say understand words, but like read words, be able to like sound it out, like and things like that. And I was like, dang, that's solid. And like they were saying he's at like like a second, third grade reading level, like right in that range
Mhm.
as a kindergartner, dude. I was like, dang. So I obviously, gave him a hard time, like, couldn't make 99, huh? What, 2% is not good? No,
Mhm.
obviously joking, but I told him I was proud of him, dude. That's awesome, dude. Like, he's, 97th percentile. Now, thinking about it, though, that was me as a kid, and it's just a matter of time before he gets very bored and stops trying. And like I said, that's literally me.
Hold on, let's back up.
What?
Let's back up just for a second.
Okay.
Are you saying you're in the 97th percentile for reading?
I was a very good reader.
Okay, did you stop then at third
yes,
grade?
I stopped. So
Because
here's the story.
just so you know, if you've never listened to Ben read,
No,
it's
okay,
about a
listen,
third grade
listen.
reading level.
No, it is not a third grade.
It's common knowledge.
Listen, everybody-
I'm not ragging on you.
Okay,
People
yes,
know this.
I'm not a strong reader,
not
but
a
I
very
can
good
read. I
reader.
can definitely read.
So like
obviously.
you're like kindergarten, aced it, fucking killed it. Third grade, started introducing some stuff. Fifth grade, lost me.
No, when I was in like, I remember it was what was it? Was it second? It was second or third grade, and I was on the couch, maybe fourth grade, but I was on the couch reading Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, just reading it, just pounding pages, just like me and my buddy Amos used to have like races at recess. This was like probably like fourth grade. We used to have like who could read the furthest.
Oh, okay.
Right, like in the book, who could get further? And he
No,
would
that's
read.
fine.
We'd both pick like Harry Potter book. He was reading, I think, number 3. I was reading number 4 or number 2 at the time. And we were seeing like who could get the furthest during recess. We'd spend time reading, right? Anyways, and I remember I was laying on the couch one day and I was just reading this book and I was just like, oh man, this is great. I love it. Like, oh my god, I'm immersed, right? And my dad was just kind of, he was doing his thing, whatever, and he kind of leaned over and he's just like,
Gay.
kinda.
Sorry.
No. So he leans over and he goes, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm just reading this book." He goes, "Like, why are you doing all this extra like reading and stuff, though? Huh? Like, what? Like, why? What's going on?" And I was just like, "I don't know. I just kind of like reading. Like, it's funny." He goes, "That's for nerds, huh?" And like just walked away. Didn't say nothing. And I took that so personally, and I was just like, "Yeah, it is." And I finished. Finished the page, I closed the book, and I was like, I'm done.
And he never read again.
Well, okay, mind you, I did finish all the Harry Potter series, and I read, maybe like 2 books in total in high school and college combined. But, yeah, I just like, not that I can't read, I can read. But, yeah, it's definitely like, I'm not a fast reader by any means. But yeah, no, that's how it happened. Backtrack,
Sure.
I used to be a very good reader. You can ask my mom, dude. Like I was like definitely like way above,
Yeah.
my age level.
That's good.
So yeah, so now it just worries me. So I just got to be careful on the comments I make. I guess Brienne says, she's like, God, you're supposed to support your kids. You're not supposed to bully them. Da 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 da.
I mean, on some level.
Well, my philosophy.
Let's just break this down. Here, welcome. Go ahead, pull up a chair. Let's just
Take a seat.
On some level. I mean, you're what? 33 now? 34?
35.
35?
Yeah, I'll be 36 this year.
At some point, you
Yeah.
gotta just maybe admit that it got a little harder. You didn't want to do it.
No,
No.
I just
No, at 8 years old, you said, fuck reading.
yes. Like I'm not,
All right, man. No, that's fine.
dude.
It's your
I'm
life.
not kidding.
It's your
I'm
life.
not kidding. I like.
Because they keep pushing you to read for like another 10 years after that. And then you went to college some more.
Dude, do you think I read anything in college?
Well, you had to pass something. You had to read
I cliff
questions.
noted everything.
You still had to read call or read crest.
Huh?
It's the burger.
That's what it is.
Read questions. But no, that's good. Good for all.
No,
it was
no,
just the
so
first
yeah,
time.
it
It
was
was just
exciting.
when you hit me with that earlier, or like the other night. You're like, yeah, he's just like ranked 97th. No big deal. I was like fucking Ricky Bobby over here. Just, I'm the
Dude.
best there is. I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence. Shit, nobody can catch me. Shake and bake, baby, all
whatever,
day.
dude. Next time you tell me a story about something you're proud that Jax did, I'm
not saying
I'm gonna
to
piss
not be
all over your
proud.
dreams.
I'm
literally
not saying
I'm gonna
They're
piss
not
all over
dreams.
all
It's
of
just
it.
it's good for
Your
it's good
excitement, okay? That's
It's
my
good for you.
excitement. I'm a stay-at-home dad, dude. I don't have a lot to be excited about.
For you. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
See, I don't know what that's like. You're right. I'm
Okay.
gonna walk a mile in your shoes. Well, you
God.
don't wear shoes because you're at home. So I'm gonna walk a mile in your socks.
Yeah, we can trade socks.
That's fine.
It'll probably work out.
But no, it is good.
But no, that's
it's
good
very
for
fun
him.
when your
That's good for him.
kids.
But like I said,
excel.
it makes me nervous though. Like, when is he gonna hit the point like I did, where I was just like, okay, I'm bored. This is easy, and then you stop trying, and then you're just in there to pass versus like, let me actually apply myself. You know, because like, he got a point in high school where I was like, I know like how to do this and this and this in math. It was probably like right after middle school, like probably like going into high school, where like that set in, where it was just like, dude, I'm like.
Yeah.
I know math. I know this. When am I ever going to use this? Like, and still some of the stuff, like, I've never busted out the quadratic equation other than to prove to people that I know it. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it started to all sink in. So it makes me nervous that, like, what are you pondering something over there?
Yeah, I was trying to think of the quadratic equation.
Oh, man. I don't
Yeah, it
remember.
doesn't matter.
It's plus or minus the square root, plus or minus something times the square root of something all
plus or
over
minus b plus
2a.
square root.
There's a song that goes with it. I'll remember it eventually here.
But no, that's good.
But that's
I mean,
what I'm saying. You know, it hit
well-
a point, and that's where it makes me nervous because, like, I was a smart kid. Like I said, you can ask my mom. I was very smart, very, like, straight A student. But, like, when is that going to hit the point for him that he's just like, I'm bored. I don't want to do this anymore.
Well, see, okay, so same boat for me. Where, again, higher of the class, all that shit. Took those aptitude tests and all those IQ tests and stuff, and they were high. And like the aptitude test, it sucks because they're like, oh, you can be 900 different things.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, well, shit. And they list them alphabetically, you know. And you're looking at that like fifth grade, like, I don't know what an architectural engineer does. I don't know, like, I know what an electrician does. Like, you read all those things, you're like, you could do any of these things, and you're like, I don't know what half these are. I don't care. So I get that caring thing. Like my parents, so like the same thing they did. They're like, listen, I know you're smart enough to do it. Fucking get it done. So we were mandatory A, B honor roll.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was less, they actually made us sit out of sports. And we wanted to play sports. So
see, and
they were
I didn't get sports until it's something in like Nevada. The only thing they had in middle school was basketball. But that was when
Really?
I went to school. Yeah, in
for
the
how
state of
big it
Nevada.
is.
Yep. The only like school sanctioned sport was basketball. I mean, maybe like dance team or something
That's
like that.
insane.
But yeah, I tried out for basketball in 8th grade. I remember, and that was a whole story in itself. And I made it all the way to like the final cuts. Yeah, but then the coach was just like, "Hey, you're not going to play a lot. You want to be the equipment manager?"
Why, Ben?
And I
Why
was
didn't
like,
you get to play?
Why can't I? Why don't you think I play? He's like, well, you know, that's just a choice that like coach got to make. And he goes, you know, you're not the tallest kid out there. And I was
Yeah.
just like, oh well,
Yeah.
this kid Danny over here and this kid over here, a Hispanic and a black kid, we're both the same height as me. So why can't I play? And he's like, well, you know, sometimes a coach has to make decisions. And that's
Well, he's looking
literally
at
what he
you
said.
and he's
And I
like,
was just like, I'm out. And then I started wrestling.
But you
and
knew.
I wrestled in high school and I loved it.
That's good. That's happy. I mean, you know, it's not easy
I used
for
to
them
climb
in middle school to you know, to put a 4'8" kid on the basketball team. I mean,
4'9".
4'9", I'm sorry.
I used to climb the rope in gym class and wish it was a guy. Have you seen Chuck and Larry?
And that's what we've had. That's the end of our podcast.
I wrestled
thank
in
you
high
guys.
school and I loved it.
Please,
Dude,
please don't
dude,
comment.
I quote that all the time and nobody
know.
ever gets
No,
it.
it's good.
Nobody
That's
ever
good.
gets it. I'm always just like, I wrestled in high school and I loved it. And nobody ever, they're like, all right, cool, man. That's great. Yeah, you're a wrestling coach now. I'm like, and so then I'll look at someone and I'll be like, I just climbed the, I used to climb the rope in gym class and wished it was a guy.
That's insane. But no, my
my
parents just kept pushing me. They're just like, listen, like homework they didn't really care that much about, but it was still like, just get it done so I don't have to talk to you about it. And so then, yeah, like that's just as a suggestion or as something I did is like, that's what my parents did. We're just like, you're smart enough to do it. I'm not going to lecture you on it. Just get it done because I know you can. And it's probably easy for you, but just do it because then it's going to make your life a lot better later. Which I think that is still a dated thing now because AB honor roll student, get into college, maintain relatively high GPA, not the best, but relatively high. And you still get the degree anyway.
Well, dude,
You know, because that's the other coin of it, though.
They always used to say, like I
side.
said, I hit a point. You know, but they always used to say, C's get degrees, man. C's get
Yeah,
get to college.
my parents were like, yeah, no.
No, I was a straight A
you're
student.
gonna be A or B.
I went back to a straight A student in college because something flipped in me that I was just like, whoa, hold up, time out. I'm paying for this. Every
You're
time
like,
I
shit,
miss
I gotta
class,
actually read now.
every time I miss
Fuck.
class, though, it's like something like,
Yeah.
you know, they broke it down. They had it like mathematically. It was a ridiculous number because I was like, holy smokes, like I'm paying this much for a year, this much for my classes. Every time I miss, I'm losing out on. I'm paying this much per class, losing out on this, and then it's like,
I gotta get a beer. You just keep talking.
not only that, but then they were just like, hey, like our wrestling coach in college put in a thing. He was like, no, like we aren't going to be a team of idiots. He was student athlete first and foremost, right? So he would be like, you know, student comes first. And then what he did was he put in study hall. Every B you had like 1 hour. Every C you had, and it just multiplied up. There were people who, like, on the wrestling team had 40 hours a week of study hall that they had to show up to, and they just wouldn't. And they would just run. They would run. But they were like, I'm not doing study hall. Fuck that. Like, but yeah, dude, it was. I flipped it back around because I was just like, I'm paying for this. Might as well make the best of it, you know.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
But yeah,
I didn't know that you could. Yeah, that's a cool.
I'm just waiting.
I mean, it's a good way to motivate, though. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, like, because I don't know. I come from this where you talk about school and stuff, and like school was easy. It was boring for sure, and it sucks when you just get stuff
I literally
faster than other people.
When it came to high school, I went to school to play sports. Because if you
sure,
didn't go to school, you couldn't participate in the sport.
Exactly.
I
Yep.
went to school to play sports. I made sure my grades were good enough to play, so I'd never be questioned.
Yeah.
I made sure, you know, I did the minimal effort. I could have done way better.
Well, no, same, and like, you know, it's funny 'cause like college, you know, I start drinking, have fun, and like, it's the worst situation for somebody like me where like, okay, school comes relatively easy. I don't really need to go to that much class because I'll just pass the test. Well then, and I have a big harp against this thing. Whereas like school, sure, gotta go, pass tests, get grades, whatever for the school. It's free. You go to college, you're paying for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
for a college professor to look at me and say, no, you need to be in my class every single time it's scheduled. You need to take attendance. If you don't, I will dock you. It's like, hold on a second, sir. I'm paying you. If I don't show up, that's on me. Like you said, you know, like you're paying for this. Like, I better do
you
good.
lose X
But
amount
at the
of money.
same time, if it's an easy class and I could show up half the time and still pass and do everything that you ask and test out, that's no, you can't put that on me. That's on you, dude. Like, I'm paying you. You show up regardless.
Right.
Whether nobody comes to this class or 150 people come, you're still teaching this fucking class. And if I don't want to be there that day, I don't have to be there that day. So then I did that. And guess what? A lot of teachers take attendance. And your grades suck a little bit.
Especially in small towns.
Yeah. Well, then a little funny story. I actually got suspended from college. I don't know did I tell you that?
I don't know if I've heard this one.
So I got suspended from college. UW Eau Claire, great school, excellence, Blue Golds. Yeah, it was just before Christmas. It was after the spring or the fall semester. It was like I think it was middle of my third year, and they had a whole thing with your GPA, so you had to stay above a 2.99, or no, I'm sorry, 3.0, right, which is like a B- or something. And the spring semester, I didn't know, and I got a 2.97. But I just finished. It was before summer. I just like finished college. I'm done with finals. I'm done for the year. All right, cool. go to work all the summer, forget about everything, come back, and I actually had a harder curriculum my fall. And so then I pulled a 299. And I was like, it's not that bad. It's one off, whatever. Get a letter in the mail. You did 2 consecutive semesters below a 3.0. You're suspended. And I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. And I'm home for Christmas.
Oh, no.
So I'm home talking to my dad. I have the letter. And I was like, you want to go for a walk? And he's like, sure. And I go, all right. So we go for a walk, and I go, I just told him, I said, listen, like, I kind of fucked up. I didn't realize, because I was also the kid that, like, if I did dip, then I'd just do really good the next semester.
Yeah,
so
you'd be able to average. Yeah.
So it never bothered me, but then I fucked up because I forgot. And I go, I'm suspended from college. And he's like, what? And I had the letter, so we're walking, he's reading it. And I was like, I totally screwed up. I didn't know I had a 299 or whatever. And I was like, this sucks. And he goes, well, and he actually handled it very well. He didn't yell at me. And all he said was, if school's not your thing, that's okay. Because he didn't go to a 4-year. He went to a technical school. But I was like, well, no, I want to do this. I just fucked up, and I'm out. I'm done, And so the whole stipulation of it was you could appeal, write a letter of appeal, which I looked it up for that school had a 9% acceptance rate. Or you wait 6 months and then reapply. But the admission guidelines had changed so much in the 2.5 years I was there that the ACT score I got, I would have to get 4 more points higher. All the stuff, I wouldn't get in if I had to reapply. And so I'm like, fuck, guess I'm writing that letter. So went to the doctor, and of course, having ADHD documented since I was 5, they were like, well, you gotta do something to prove that you want to do that. Be there. So I wrote a 2-page letter. I still have it to this day. And I read it every once in a while. It's still pretty good. But I went to the doctor. They gave me Adderall. And so busted out the paper. And I talked to my advisor about it, who actually, she was a math professor, and I went for mathematics. And so she's a very big advocate for me. So she was like good friends with people on the board. Took it to him. Fucking got back in. I was one of the 9%. So I was like, fuck
nice.
Yeah, right. Now I'm like, okay, this is serious now. Like, I can't fuck around.
Right.
So I ended up pulled a 3.9 the remaining 3 semesters. And I took a summer class just to get back and graduate. And dude, that was like the closest thing where like, oh fuck. I really screwed up. And but like you said, like when people get bored, especially people on neurodivergent, ADHD, like typically they're a little brighter kids, but they also can suffer a lot more too in that school environment. And that sucked, but I was able to turn around. Thank you. And now I'm not using my degree at all. It's great.
Yeah, let's talk about using our degrees here.
Glad I spent all that money.
So I graduated as, I guess you could say, a triple major, right? Business finance, business management, sports management.
Yeah, see, I was a quadruple, but I was going to let him go first. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah?
I was a quadruple major.
I was just talking about...
What'd you major in?
I was going to say about using your degree.
Yeah, you were talking about school. What'd you major in?
I just said business finance, business management, and sports management.
Nice. I didn't know the sports side.
Yep, I did sports management. I was initially going to be a business finance and sports management, right, kind of thing. And when I was going over it with my advisor, DJ, shout out DJ, Dawn Johnson.
She's probably dead now.
No, she's cool.
It's a girl.
Dawn, yeah. And
Dawn is also a man's name.
I've never... Show me one man named Don.
I can. Don Hovel. 8th grade science teacher.
All right. Well, I think you're thinking Don like D-O-N, but I'm thinking Don like D-A-W-N.
Yep, and weirdly they sound familiar. Since I'm
Anyways,
not reading
okay.
your subtitles, I didn't
Anyways.
fucking know that.
And you read the subtitles. No, you got a screen
no,
right there.
No, I'm dumb all the way.
Yeah, I'm done. No, but no, we were looking at everything because I wanted to do a double major and was doing business finance and sports management. And when looking at it, a lot of classes aligned, and she was like, you're one class away from being like the business management like tier as well, like having that as a major as well. And she's like, you just got to take one class, and I was like, all right, cool, throw it on, like whatever, I'll do it. So I did it because it was one of those like, yeah, you pay $20, you can drive a forklift. It's like, yeah, throw it on.
Well, yeah,
I'll
why
drive a
not?
forklift.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
just give me the certification kind of thing. So I did it, but yeah, so I ended up a triple major. And using my degrees today, I manage a small company of 2 employees.
Oh yeah.
No.
What do they get paid?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They get paid in the fact
Room
they
and
get
board.
they get to
That's all they
live
get.
with a roof over their house, clothes on their back, 3 meals a day,
Yep.
plus snacks.
Yeah, like prison.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. I run a prison.
Yeah, there you go. No.
Oh my God.
No, I majored in kinesiology, movement studies. I have a double minor actually, a mathematics minor and a.
Well, 2 minors don't make a
and,
major.
Like I said, prison.
Okay.
That leads to prison. But no, a mathematics minor,
jeez.
and then I have a coaching minor as well. So
Nice, dude.
still
Yeah, I
in the
just
sports
coach.
area,
I
but
just
it's
coach.
just-
That's all I do.
yeah. I
Bing,
became
bop,
a certified
boom,
trainer,
boom,
so
bop,
it's like that's
bam.
the only, and I did that like a couple of years ago. So it's like that's the only thing that kind of was further education of my degree. But I work at an auto dealership.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm a service advisor. That,
I left college with so many dreams and aspirations.
Well, they fuck you up because you're always behind the curve. I mean, everybody was like, go to school, be a teacher. My mom was a teacher. I was like, I want to be a teacher. And then halfway through, Dad goes, don't be a teacher. There's no money. I said, okay, cool. What do you want me to do? He's like, business. I'm like, all right, cool. So I did business for a while. And then the next thing I knew, a report came out, and the business management degree, which is what I had,
Me too.
was the fucking highest ever. And they're like, there's going to be job scarcity. And I'm like, great. I'm glad I'm doing
Dude,
this.
that's what
And then
they
I
say about
failed. Then
everything.
I didn't fail. I suspended from college.
Mm-hmm.
And I came back and I said, okay, what can I just get out of school with? And then since I was already minoring, I was actually, I was going to coach. And so I was taking all these kinesiology credits, and they're like, and I was going to major in mathematics. And then they're like, well, if you flip it and your minor's done, because you've already done enough. I was like 3 classes away for the major. They're like, well, if you just flip, you're done. You got it. I'm like, oh, nice. And then they're like, well, if you flip the other one, you got to take another 2 semesters of courses for the major in kinesiology. I was like, oh, well, fuck. And they're like, oh, and you've already done part of the capstone was your coaching minor or
Right.
minor. So I was like,
right.
well, sweet. So I flipped it, and then I was out in a year. But
Yeah, it sucks too because like
yeah,
some of those classes when you're looking like, oh, I want to major in this. It's like, okay, cool. Like, so this is the course handbook on what you have to take, and then they throw it in there, and you're just like, okay, cool. Like, so every business class, the reason I have to go to school for 3 years is because every business class is Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 to 10 or 9 to 11,
no
whatever
cool
it is.
2 p.m. classes.
Like there's no Tuesday, Thursday, there's no
nothing.
afternoon. It's all every business class you need to take now for the next 4 years.
Well, and I was always in math and
here.
sciences, so then I would take I'd always have to have a lab, and it was
Yep.
always like 2 to
Yep.
5 or 5 to 8.
Yep.
There was never a morning
And
lab.
hey, don't fall below 12 credits because then you're no longer a full-time
Exactly,
student,
yeah.
meaning
No, I took-
you don't get all the benefits of a full-time
so
student.
That was a funny thing. So I really like school. I do really like school in the sense that you get to learn new things. So this is what I was going to ask you before I talk about me. What are 3 classes that you took? Because you went to a liberal arts school, so you had to take different things. What were the 3 classes you took that are like unique, not necessarily for your major or minor or anything like that, but what are 3 classes that you took that are just random?
You know, honestly, I feel like we've been talking about me a lot. Let's not talk about me. Let's talk about you. What
Good,
do you
'cause
like?
that's what I want to do.
What do you like about me?
No, I'm going to talk about my classes I took.
No, okay, 3 classes. That was a joke.
I love you.
Anyways.
No, I love you.
Let's see. I think I'd probably say like number one top class that I took like out of the blue because I needed to fill credits was pro psychology. I took Psych 101
So
and like something about that. There were 6 tests in the entire class. That was it. There was no homework. There was no nothing. It was 6 tests. Like, and here were the test dates on the curriculum. Like, bam, 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 bam. Bing, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam. You know,
that song's been in my head all day, and I forgot
dude.
until you did that again.
I didn't, because you did it earlier, and so it's been playing on repeat.
Bing, bop,
But
bing,
anyways, yeah. So Psych 101. Something about that class, I don't know. Like
it's
I
so
like,
crazy. It's so
and I
entertaining.
didn't do the best in that class. Like I didn't get ace the class, right? Because it was a lot. It's a lot of info to remember. Like you got to remember, 3 or 4 weeks packed into per test. There's like 3 weeks of classes.
Yeah.
I think it was like God, what was Psych? Was it a 3 or 4 day a week class? I don't remember. It was
Mine
was it?
3.
It was probably maybe a 3 credit or 4 credit. I think it was a 4 credit class. So it was once.
So intense, yeah.
It might have been 3. It might have been Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I don't remember. But anyways, that was a tough one. But I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Another one. This is just kind of random because even though I did wrestling, it didn't count as a like it counted for 1 semester of a like sports, and they were like, no, you got to do some sort of sport, like some sort of. So I did bowling. I did bowling for a semester where I got to go Tuesday, Thursday, and bowl for an hour. My game actually improved. I went from averaging like a 75 like bowling to like
to a 95.
No, I think I was up to like a 104 or something like that. I broke 100. Hey, you know what? Hey, I don't care, dude. I didn't bowl. I didn't bowl.
Fair.
The bowling alleys that we had in Vegas were all in casinos, right? So the only way to get in was to, you know what I'm saying? So like, we didn't go bowling a lot. But I mean, hey, jumping, that much in like, and it was only that was a half a semester class, right? So it was you only went for 7 weeks or whatever it was.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Weird.
So, and that's what it was. And then they tested you. The final I remember in bowling was a written final. I was just like, how many points is this worth? We're going to show you, like, they scored this, score out the scorecard. And you had to, like, write it out to show, like, you understood how scoring worked in bowling. So, like, it was actually cool. It was actually, like, more in-depth than, you would think. And then I'd say, let's see, my third class that I really liked. God, I don't know. The only one that kind of comes into mind, but it was a curriculum class that really stood out to me was my business law class. And the reason for that being is because on that final I got a C. I got a C+. And I got the final back. And I was like, yo, this ain't right. And the professor was actually the in-town lawyer. Small town. So he was the lawyer in town. Yeah. And I went up to his office with my thing, and I scheduled an appointment and everything, and I was just like, yo, I got a question about my final. And he was like, yeah, go ahead. Let's talk about it. And so we started talking about my final, and I got into this, like, debate with him, and like a professional lawyer, right? And so I'm debating with him, like, no, like, the reason I put this is because this. And I had my ducks in a row. And he, like, I mean, we probably debated for like 30, 45 minutes right in that range where we were just talking about different answers about why I put what I put and why I believed what I believed and like how like it worked. And we were both being like, obviously civil about it, right? He would give his opinion, I'd give mine. Like nobody was
Your Honor.
No, nobody was getting mad and stuff, but I was talking to him and stuff and like literally, and he goes, you know what? He goes, you're right. And he goes, all right. And marked my grade up. So I ended up with a B in the class.
Nice.
And he was just like, I just remember this because as I was leaving, he goes, hey, Ben, he goes, one more thing. He goes, if you're ever looking to get in the legal field,
there you go.
And he was like, call me. And he was like, because I've never once had a student come down and argue with me, like about,
well, and win.
X, Y, Z. Yeah.
And
he goes, and prove his point so, like, so, what's the word I'm looking for when you're so, like, not passionate about it, but you're so, like, you're doing something so... You're so into it, but you're so, like...
Passionate.
Not passionate. It's not the word. Anyways, it's going to come to me randomly. I'm going to scream it and be like, that's the word. But, no, he's like, I've never had someone, like, come to me like, so,
exquisite.
So, no, she has surgery.
There's other ways.
We can't.
We
no, but,
this.
no. He just said, I've never had someone come and talk to me, like, so, like... God, I can't think of the word that I want to say. But anyways,
Homunculus.
Sure. That's not it. But anyways, no, and he was like, but if you're ever looking for a career in the law field, like, hit me up, essentially. And gave me his card.
That's
like,
cool.
Don't forget my number, da-da-da-da. And that was, God, I don't know, 14 years ago. God dang.
Yeah, he's retired.
14. Yeah, he's probably, he was on the older side. And I used to just sit in his class and just play Minesweeper on my computer all the time. But anyways, that was probably a class, even though it was core curriculum class, like, really stuck out. And I just want to say honorable mention, big shout out to like my accounting / econ teacher, J.R. Robinson. He was goated, dude. We used to go to the casino with him all the time. We used to go to the bars and drinks with my accounting professor. And then he learned I was from Vegas. I used to sit in the front of the class. I used to sleep in econ. And my buddy Albert would get so pissed because he'd study his ass off for the test. And I'd just be sleeping in class. And then test time would come and he'd be like, hey, what'd you get me? He'd be like, yeah, dude, I did good. I got a 76. What'd you get? And I'd be like, yeah, I got like a 92. And he's like, you fucking slept right next to me the whole time. And he'd be so pissed, dude. It was so funny. It was good. But anyways, okay, those are my 3 classes.
Those are your 3. Okay. Those are pretty
like
cool.
I said, I did one like core class. So you can have one like core class that really stuck out, but 3 classes that weren't in the mix.
Well, yeah, so I'm going to say right away honorable mention because I forgot about it. Psychology. That one for me.
Dude,
that's an honorable mention because that thing was like they teach you all the basics and it's kind of stuff that's common knowledge, but then to learn it in the actual sense and have the studies.
And then to dive deep into some of that stuff, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I don't mean to cut you off, obviously.
No, that's
but
right.
You know what I'm saying. Like, to dive deep into some of those studies that the people did, like John B. Watson, was a behaviorist. He did the thing with the dogs and the saliva and how, like, he'd ring a bell and he was able to train a dog that when he ringed a bell.
Yeah,
that's Pavlov. That's Pavlov's puppies. That's what it was.
Yep.
Sorry, I made all these pseudonyms in my head. John B. Watson was the behaviorist who did. But anyways, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like Pavlov with the stuff where he was able to ring a bell and
with
a
the dog and they would solve it. Yeah.
How the brain connects to different sounds and.
Well, just to be able to like get people's personalities. Like for somebody who like again, we are. I try not to say it all the time, but we are the ADHDads. But a lot of times with kids that are a little bit on that spectrum or a little higher, the whole thing is that we study people more than the average person. So like we're always watching, we're always calculating, and that's why it's like the joke that like if an ADHD guy goes with you and he just looks in and he scans the room and he's like, vibes off, I don't like it. And then his buddies are like, no, we're leaving. And there's that guy on TikTok that does it. He's like, oh, well, we're out. Another buddy's like, what? Just because he said so? He goes, yeah, no, he's got a thing. It's weird. He's got ADHD. Totally knows what's going on. And, like, that's what it is. Like, you really understand. Like, you read body language really quickly and facial features and stuff. Like, we just pay attention way more. And so, like, to get that and then have, like, an introduction to psychology like that, you're like, holy shit. Like, this could be my jam. But, again, had to just take it. So we took it. And then I never took it again. But, all right. So my classes I took astronomy. Professor was Australian. Coolest fucking class ever. And you think like, oh, you're learning about planets and stuff. You're like, yes,
no, that'd be cool.
But like fission, nuclear stuff, the way it travels through space.
Nuclear.
And he just like, and he actually, I didn't realize this till halfway through the year. He probably said it the first day. But the book that we were reading out of, he contributed to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we were reading his book.
That's awesome.
And I didn't realize that. So, again, I probably didn't show up that day.
I had a physical science teacher who was from, like, the UK. And he was just, like, he was
Well,
quick.
we talked about that. Like, accents.
But he was quick with it,
I'll
too.
listen to anybody in an accent.
He'd turn around and be, like, saying something on the board and someone would laugh. He'd be like, do you have the answer? And then the kid would be like, no. He'd be like, oh, I didn't think so. Pay attention. And like, dude, he was like certified genius. Certified
you'd be
genius.
like, but I have the answer.
But anyways,
like, shut up.
Just reminded me of Professor Farndale was his name.
Oh,
Farndale.
God. Sounds like a Family Guy character. But no, so that was one.
Astrology.
Astrology was pretty fun. Or no, astronomy.
Astronomy. Sorry, astrology is what?
The signs.
Signs.
Taurus.
But I'm a Sagittarius.
Yeah, you look like one.
I don't know whether to be happy or sad.
No, it's so stupid when they talk like that. But let's see that one.
I knew it.
I took a bridge class.
Like the card game
how to
bridge?
play bridge.
Like a card
The
game,
old
right?
lady game, yeah.
The old lady game. That's what I was
Dude,
gonna say. Like
it's
not building
crazy.
bridges, like
No. This is bridge.
so kind of like my bowling. right?
Exactly.
Was it like a
that
7-week, like half semester thing? Or?
No, it was a whole thing.
Oh, okay.
No, that's why I was crazy. We didn't have half semester classes.
Yeah, so we
just
only
did.
the sports ones, and then you could pick up another sports one at the
No.
second half of the
Yeah,
semester.
no. I mean, I took weight training, and that was a full semester too. Like for a class, but no, bridge was actually kind of fun. And then you realize that you're like, oh, old ladies play bridge. Just so you know, if you know an old lady that plays bridge, she's a fucking genius. That's a hard ass game to play. There's so much calculating and shit to it. Like people play euchre. This is euchre on steroids.
Dude, I haven't heard euchre
You
in
have
so
to keep
long.
track of so much more stuff, and then the way you talk, because you can't just say like, "I'll take 3 tricks." No, the way you lead and say like 7 spades, and then the next person's like 6 hearts, and like how it goes, it builds and builds. And if you do it right, you can calculate what your partner has and what you have.
Because
And
it's
then-
teams. Is it like spades?
Yeah. Well,
So I used to-
no, it's partners. So you're across from each other. It's like euchre.
Well, yeah. So spades
But-
is like you have the partner across from you, and you're not trying to like outplay. Essentially, you
thought
both
spades
are
was an
working for
individual
books.
game.
It can be, but the way we played it in college with like partners,
Yeah.
like where like you and the person across from you is like,
Yeah.
and you're not trying to like steal your partner's books, right?
Sure.
Because like if I play something, if I just have throwaway cards, but I have really good cards, right? And I'm not trying to like throw down my really good cards after he threw down his good cards to win a book, even though he would have won the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and the book is like the stack, obviously, like
Sure.
that you win every round or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Well, that's where like I said, and you have to be able to do it right, because if you do it, then you and me, if we say the stuff right, you know exactly what I have, and I know exactly what you have, and then I can calculate how many points we're at, and then if we're gonna win the hand or not. And if you're off though, if you don't see it right away, you can fuck the whole thing up immediately from your like first thing. And they always have predetermined decks. So like there's certain things that are already put in there. So the cards that are flipped and drawn, they're put into this little machine that has like 4 cards sticking off of it. And so when you do it, you like flip those ones up, and then those are your 4, and then you have to play off that game.
how is it like predetermined? Like, would it actually be like?
So they like
Isn't it random though? Like it could be anything. It could be.
no. So when they deal them, and they deal like, I don't know how many cards, but they deal how many cards, and they put them
It'd
into
be-
this little machine.
Yeah.
And so then you play off those. And then you go by hands, and then you dictate whoever. So that's why when you see in a newspaper, it gives you the 4 that are up, it gives you your hand, and it gives you like a couple of what's called. And then by just figuring that out, it's literally like a puzzle. If you just
Kind
figure
of like a
that out,
Sudoku.
you can guess what everybody has
Really?
just based off that.
See, maybe you'll have to teach me how to play
Dude,
bridge because I have
mean,
no
don't remember
clue.
everything,
I've never
but,
played.
dude, it is nuts. So anyway,
Let's join a league.
there was that game. It was only a 1 credit class.
Okay,
But it was,
yeah,
it was
that
pretty
bowling
good.
was half a credit.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
And then I would say probably my favorite class, and I did nothing with it, was geology.
Really?
Dude, I joined geology,
As like a filler because you
Yeah,
didn't want to be
I
part
did.
time, right?
and I ended up seeing that
That's
all
why I
the
did
way
psychology.
to the. I always did that to the last class you could take in geology, because I was like, dude, this guy's awesome. The way we learn is awesome. We actually did field trips and shit. We actually did out and did like excavation type stuff, and so like, I'm like, I never thought I would love geology, but like, that was my jam. Loved that fucking class.
See, and that's what I took psychology because I think that's what it was. I didn't want to be a part-time student, and I was at 11 credits. And, yeah, it was a 3-credit class. It was Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now that I think about it, that's the reason I took it. It's because I needed a filler
Yep.
because all my other business classes fell on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday at this time, or the Tuesday, Thursday slots for the 2-hour slots that I
Yep.
already had booked. And I was like, I can't do anything else. But I can't afford to be a part-time student because then you lose, like, the room and board. You lose, like, all this stuff that you lose. So then I was just like, yeah. So that's why I took psychology. And, yeah, dude, it ended up being one of my literal, like, favorite classes. Like, I still, like,
Yeah.
the stuff I learned in there is just, like, and the different, like, documentaries and how they got certain things. And some of it is just like, whoa, 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 whoa. You did what?
Yeah.
But,
We
like,
watched
what
the,
we learned from that, you know.
We had to do we did a whole section on Mount St. Helen, when it erupted and stuff, and like talking about like I think they're called like the cryoplasts or something, or the
I got
like
the chills.
something plastic falls. It's like when it first erupted, like the ash basically like rushes down, and it's like this force of ash, and like how hot it is and stuff. And like we watched the video, and then we like it was a very intense documentary about like what happened right afterwards, and like how quick it hit you, and like there was people that saw it that are like, I'm dead, and they just had to watch it come and completely melt them. It was crazy, but like that was probably one of my favorite classes to take. And for being somebody who's doing kinesiology, which is the study of the body, so I'm doing all biomechanics and all this other stuff, and then mathematics, to do all those random classes. I took history. I took Japanese history.
I did Vietnam War.
You?
Yep.
I did.
My professor sounded like Scooby-Doo. So I'm pretty sure he was using back in the time of the Vietnam War, but he was like, "And what do you guys think about that? It wasn't cool." Like,
oh my God.
I swear, and that was every class with that was Vietnam War. And then the cool thing though about Vietnam War is you learn like a lot of those songs that you think like, man, this is a super patriotic song, I'm all about it. It is literally the opposite of what you like, Born in the USA. That song is like opposing the Vietnam War. It is talking against the U.S. Like if you break down the lyrics, or like what's the other song? It was like we watched Forrest Gump, and a lot of the music in Forrest Gump is just like songs that were written like opposing the Vietnam War. It's like what is it? He's like, I ain't no millionaire, son. Like that song. It's opposing the Vietnam War, saying like, hey, I'm getting sent over because I'm no senator's son. I'm no millionaire son. I'm nobody special. Right, and that's who they were sending over. They were,
interesting.
And so like, there's a lot of music that like we listen to today that we're like, yeah, America, yeah, let's go. And you're like, dude, that's the opposite of what that song is trying to portray. Like, it's crazy.
Like Western civilizations of the 1600s. I don't care. Like, I mean, like nothing against history, but like some of those other histories, like especially U.S. history, like it's been ground so much, and it's we're very young, obviously, but it was always like, well, it was, Europe and all the stuff, and, King Henry and all those things. And, like, you learn all that, and, like, it just takes me out of it.
Yeah.
The Japanese one was cool to learn, just how they have, like, certain, because they've been around for thousands of years.
Right.
So it's different when it's not so new, It almost seems like ancient, like samurai and stuff like that. So that was cool. I mean, it was just like, but I remember taking just so many random classes. And that was the funny thing. You talked about credits, right?
Yeah.
So when I graduated with 172 credits, which is stupid high.
Yeah.
I needed 120 to graduate.
Right. You only need.
I had 172 credits. That means I just took a bunch of
just
weird ass classes. Dude, it was crazy. But it was like, that's what I loved about school, though. I loved that.
The crazy thing is too is like they tell you can't get below 12. Or else you're a part-time student, and you can't go above 17 or whatever it is. Every credit you're above 17, it's an overload credit. Is what they did, and then you have to pay extra to do like that credit. You actually have to pay extra.
We didn't have to pay extra.
Yeah, it was.
They were just letting you know, like,
no,
they recommended
that's
15 to 17, but they're like, just so you know, if you take 18 to 20, and they did say it was an overload credit.
It's an overload, and they made you pay for it.
But I still did it.
I mean, that's fine, dude. I don't care.
But it was, I had 172 credits. And I went, fuck. Like, how the hell? And then when I was leaving, I talked to my advisor, and she said I was one class away from graduating. Well, I was one class away from mathematics major. I was one class away from a physics major, because I took physics too, and I really like physics, but it was your science class, but it was more escalated. But I really like science. That was my favorite. But it wasn't anything to speak cool about, like but geology helped me burn that, like, get all the extra classes I need for that. So I was one away from, I had to take physics 2, and I would have got a major in physics.
That's
like,
crazy.
It was just like crazy, like all these things. And I'm like,
dude, I remember,
I'm not going to stay.
I remember, so we had the choice because we had to take, so when you look at like your like core curriculum, you have your what is it called? It's like when you have to take like 2 English credits, a math credit. What is that? That's like your core?
Oh no,
it's like
it's not essentials, but it's like
core,
it's your,
it's something. Isn't it like your core curriculum, or
no,
it's
it's
like
not core.
It's core. I swear it's core.
Not core. It's
like you got to take your. Oh my God, what is it?
I fucking hate this.
You know what I'm talking about,
I know
though,
exactly
right? You
what
have
you're
like
talking about.
one science class. You got to take 2 English classes. You got to take 2 math. You got to take.
Oh wait, you're not talking about. Okay, never mind.
No. For like anything, pretty much anything you do, you have
Well,
to
I'm
take
saying
your,
like the first year of classes
the first,
are like
2
your
years of
essential classes.
are your core classes. Like you have to take these anyways. For
It's
what
not core.
it is core. I
Stop
swear it's something
saying
core. And let us know in the comments, guys, because I don't know if we'll get this before the end of the episode. So let us know in the comments what we're talking about. Like you have to take. It's like 2 years of classes where it's like your.
I'm so mad. I can't
The
remember
ones
this.
you have to take.
I know.
Right? Like your science,
But
your
you keep
math, and
talking, and I
you
can't
have to do.
think.
Anyways, so I did when I was doing in college for mine. We had the choice between, for math, it was like calculus or statistics.
Oh my God, this is gonna bother
and I was just
the
like,
shit out of me.
I'm gonna take my.
It's not essentials.
It's core
kinda
curriculum
it's
or
not
something
core.
like that,
It's
dude.
not
I'm
core.
telling you, it's like you got to take your.
Well, core is the word, and if core is not triggering us, then it's not core.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I feel like it's something else, but I feel like core is just sticking out to me, right? Anyways, I feel like it's core curriculum. I don't know. Anyways,
It's not that.
so, but yeah, so you got to take your.
Oh my God.
Is it like common core? No, it's not common core. That's
Common
like a
core,
math.
That's mathematics.
Yeah, that's a. Anyways, but yeah, so I took statistics, and I was like, yeah, I'll try statistics. So that was a Monday through Thursday. It was a
I have a stats
4 class,
story.
4-day a week class, and the way it was set up was really cool. It was really weird. So the classroom for statistics was in like a dormitory, like so they had a meeting room in one of the like dorms. And that's where they held the stats class. And it was right across the street from my dorm, literally across the street. Like, if class started at 9, you could leave your room at 8:58 and make it on time. And that's for locking your door and all that extra stuff. And I skipped class probably like 50% of the time, 60% of the time. I ended up with the highest grade in my statistics
Yeah, that's
class.
how it should fucking be.
Like, it was literally
Stupid.
like, I didn't show up, and I would just show up and be like, all right, cool. Like, here's the test. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Turn it in. And it's just like, all right. Like, but I love statistics. I actually really like that class. Like, but God, what is that? What is that called? It's not like essential. It's not.
I seriously want to look it up.
No, don't look it up. Don't look it up. Because when you look it up, it's not as good. It's not as, like, fulfilling.
Like, I'm just thinking like commonalities or something.
Like,
it's
you
like,
gotta take.
it's something like that.
Like, you gotta take your like
It's like prerequisites.
basic. You gotta take your like. I don't know what it is. Anyways, quit thinking about it because it'll come to us
Okay,
later.
yeah.
The more
Yeah,
you think
tell
about it,
us,
it'll
stop
come to us
thinking
later.
about
Yeah,
that.
tell us
Yeah,
in the
that
comments,
helps.
guys. Tell us in the comments.
But no, I gotta tell you a stat story.
Yeah, tell me the
stat story.
Then
So
we gotta wrap it up.
no, that's fine. So there's this guy. He's old, dude. He looked like Doc Brown with a beard. And I took stats, right? So we're in there as math class, and I really actually I thoroughly enjoyed mathematics. So I really like learning statistics and learning that kind of stuff. But he had a very specific way that you had to answer the question.
Like a
It's
Jeopardy style. Like
no.
What is?
So when you did your work, you can't just write the answer. You have to show your work. And he had what's called an SFVCA format.
Okay, first off, how did you remember that many random letters?
Because I had to do it, and I fought him and lost. Because this is what he did. So SFVCA. So symbol, formula, value, C, calculation, A, answer. So you had to write that out. So when he gave you a problem, you had to write the symbol that they're doing it. You had to write the formula that was there. You had to plug in all the values to the formula. Then you had to calculate it, show your work calculating, and then you had to circle the answer. And I went through the first test, and I just did all the answers because it was easy. And I went to it. I got a C.
So you got the answer right, but you didn't do the other
I didn't do the other stuff. And he said, like, you got to do it in this format. I was like, fuck that. So I just did the answers. Nope. I went to his room. I said, I'm like, I have all this right. I mean, I could take another test that you have and get it all right. And he's like, yes, but in my class I require you to do it. I'm like, that's stupid because I know what to do. I'm doing that. I'm just doing it in my head. I don't have to write this out. And he's like, for my class, you do. And he fucking stood by it. So that is why 20 years later, I can still fucking remember SFVCA format. And you know what? I give him somewhat kudos.
Dude, I had a teacher
But-
like that in high school.
Dude,
who
it's...
was just so mad.
Oh, my God.
Because she was just like, there's no way you know these answers. And it was, she was like, you don't know the answers to these questions, but I was getting everything right. She's like, you're cheating. You're cheating.
See,
And I
yeah,
was like,
he
I'm
didn't
not-
even take that stance. He
No,
goes,
but I
I'm
was
sure
like,
you
I'm
know
not
it.
cheating. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not cheating. I swear I'm not cheating. And even we went in for parent-teacher conferences, and my dad went with me. I remember, and I think because maybe my brother or my sister had parent-teacher conferences at the same time, so my mom went with them. So my dad went with me, and the teacher was just like, yeah, he doesn't show his work. And my dad was like, well, is he wrong? And the teacher was like, well, no, but he's not showing his work, so yes, he's wrong. And then my dad was like, I don't understand, like, what, so show me, like, what, so she would, like, show some of the stuff, and he was just like, what's the deal? I was like, I'm just doing it in my head, like, I can do it better in my head than I can write it out on paper.
Well, it's
right?
a waste of time.
And it's like, not only is it a waste of time, but sometimes, like, organizing the things up here is better than, like, trying to, like, get it onto paper. So I was like, I'm able to, like, look at that and figure
Well,
it out.
and you're
Like,
left-handed, so writing it, you erase everything. And that,
right, and it ends up on this side of my
Yep,
hand, and then
that
as you're
sucks.
writing later, it all smears, and you're like, oh my god. But no, and then I was just like, yeah, like that's just how it is. And she was like, no, he's got to be cheating, and then like literally like told my dad that he was wrong to his face, that I'm a cheater, and you met my dad, and he's just
I
like,
did.
he's like, he's doing it in his head. Like if he's not wrong. Like, I don't understand what the issue is. Like, you don't got to show your work to get the right answer. Like, if you got the right answer, you got the right answer, right? And, like, yeah, it turned into kind of a battle kind of thing. But, yeah, she told my dad to his face that it's impossible for someone to be able to do the work in their head and that I was cheating and I'm wrong. And,
Talladega.
it didn't go well.
so you
and-
were,
and-
so you're saying you were in the 98th percentile.
And that's about the time that I was like, dude, fuck this. I can literally skate by overseas, still play sports, and that's when the sports thing kicked to high school. Look at that, guys. We circle back around full circle,
Absolutely.
guys. But shoot, man. Yeah, we should probably wrap this one up. It looks like it's probably about that time.
I'm still trying to get it under the wire here.
It's like core curriculum. You got to take
not
you got to
core.
take your
Stop
core
saying
your
core.
core classes. Your core. It's core, dude. It's core. It's like, ugh, I got the chills. Anyways, all right. Well, let's wrap it up, guys. We're gonna do some big shout outs here. We're gonna shout out, Shane Gillis and the Joe Rogan Experience.
Yep, 2 Bears, 1 Cave.
2 Bears, 1 Cave. If any of you
Funny fucking
guys
episodes.
ever want to
though.
meet with us,
Oh,
ever,
So good. Every week. I tune in every week.
I will gladly take any amount of time that you want to borrow from me. We'll figure it out. dude.
Anything. Yeah, our people will reach your people.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Maybe.
dude, we'll talk to the higher ups. They'll talk to your higher ups. You
Yeah.
know, we'll get to something. Hopefully soon. But anyways, no, great podcast. Also, I want to do a big shout out to my buddy BD Kai. He
Hell yeah.
recommended our podcast to another buddy, Peasy, and Peasy Jr. both from our Twitch streamers. I'll leave their links in the description below if you guys
Well, I
want
mean,
to check them out.
I wasn't there, but you had said that
Yeah, and,
he
like,
rated
he-
another guy. And
Yeah, and then he was talking
he-
about how like
he's
he
just
really
talking
liked our
about-
podcast.
He's just talking
Yeah,
about our
he's just
podcast randomly. He's like, oh, dude, I listened to you. We're like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, I was just
Oh
like, oh
my
my god,
God,
we're
this is
making
getting
it, we're
out
making
there?
it. You one person at a time,
Wait
right?
for that $10 check.
Dude. That's when we can retire because then we're official podcast.
Hell yeah.
we're professional.
Amazing.
Then we can add it to our resume too. But yeah, no, big shout out BD Kai, dude. You the man. Appreciate you, brother. Same thing with PZ. Appreciate you, man. Just even talking about the
For sure.
podcast on the
For
stream
sure.
to your viewers.
That's awesome.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, I don't know. Do you got any? What's your motivational thing? That we're
Oh, I
leaving
got to do
on
this
today?
every week?
What do you mean every week? I open with the joke, dude.
Well, that's
You
okay.
gotta
Then
pick-
if
you
I
gotta pick
close
one or
with.
the other, right?
Let's
We got to
see.
end on
All right,
something.
hold
I
on, let's-
I
all
think
right.
I had something. I
What
think
is
I
it?
had something. Let's see.
I'll leave you with this. This is because I watch a lot of TikToks. This is just what came to mind.
There we go.
And he had 3 things, but I'm gonna just do the last one. And it was Matthew McConaughey when he accepted one of his speeches
Oh,
for I
right,
think it was
right,
an
right.
Oscar, and he had mentioned who's your hero? When he talked about who his hero was. And he goes, it's me in 10 years. And
Facts.
so, he said he had a person in his life that asked him that question. Then 10 years later asked him the same question. And he goes, so, it's been 10 years. Did you get to meet your hero? And he said, no. It's my hero's 10 years from now.
Yep.
And so he kept saying that, like,
I know exactly.
He's like, hey, man, I have somebody to follow. And so, like, he's like, I'm never going to meet my hero. But I'm going to keep striving to be that person. So, that's what I got.
Facts. That's
like that.
Perfect. I love that.
And I did think about it. I didn't want to go 10 years. I did 5 years because 10 years would be 40,
cheers to that.
47. I don't want to think about that.
Cheers to that. ADHDads. Well, shoot, guys. We are out, guys. Make sure to check us out on the YouTube, on the Spotify. Check out Mity on Twitch and YouTube. Chief on Twitch.
Chief Rex D, baby.
And we will catch you guys soon.
Peace.